I hope you're doing well. I want to spend a few minutes with you this afternoon talking about launching your startup, and more precisely, what are the 7 key attributes you need to launch your startup successfully. I know if you're like me, we all think at times about what it would be like to have our own business and to be on our own, to work for ourselves. And so I want to walk you through what I consider to be the primary attributes that you need to be successful at doing just that. The first one is tenacity. When you think of tenacity, you think of never give up, diligent, stubborn pursuit of your goal at all costs. That's tenacity. Tenacity was exhibited by Thomas Edison, one of the most famous American inventors, the father of the light bulb. Did you know that Thomas Edison spent 1,000 iterations in inventing his light bulb? Someone once asked Mr. Edison, what did it feel like to fail 1,000 times? And he said, I didn't fail 1,000 times. The invention of the light bulb had 1,000 steps. That precisely is tenacity. Shark Tank's Lori Greiner has this saying that entrepreneurs are the only people that are willing to work 80 hours a week so they don't have to work a 40-hour week. Now, you don't have to work an 80-hour week, but you're willing to. The next attribute is an access to a community. And I'm going to call out a particular community that has been very meaningful to me called Upwork. Upwork is the world's largest freelancing community. It's been around since 2003. First, it was known as Odesk, and in more recent years, it has been rebranded as Upwork. You can get on Upwork and you can find literally thousands of jobs that you can apply to as a freelancer. If you have a startup and you want to be a client, you can host jobs. It's a wonderful community. You can find jobs in everything from coding projects, PHP, WordPress, content marketing, blog writing, ebooks, everything under the sun. You can find work through Upwork, and you can get help for your startup. But be a part of a community. That's the essential thing, whether it's a blogging community or a hackathon or an incubator. You need to find people who share your passion and who can help you. You can bounce ideas off of. That's the importance of a community. The third attribute is to find a mentor. Statistics have it that 70% of small businesses that have had mentorship behind them last 5 years or longer, whereas those who have not had the benefit of a mentor will fail within the first year. Startups are already notably difficult. Again, statistics say that 80% of startups will fail in the first year. So why not improve your chances by using a mentor? Consider a mentor like a friend who can help you through the journey, someone who knows you and knows your what you're trying to achieve. And consider having an hour conversation with your mentor versus 6 months of reading. It's just not the same. A mentor knows you and knows what you're trying to achieve. So use one or more mentors to help you. The fourth point that's very important is to know your market. You want to know who are your competitors, who is doing the same kind of thing you are. You want to also ask yourself, is this market saturated? Is it just overwhelmed? You want to be able to move into a market that you can set yourself apart in. And you're going to have to ask yourself as well, who is going to buy your product? These are the kind of questions you're going to answer with research, with surveys, with tests before you enter your market. The old idea of build it and they will come, that doesn't work today. You want to get out of the building and test and do some small steps and iterations to see who is in your market and who's going to buy your product before you spend a lot of money and waste money that you don't need to waste. The fifth point is to provide outstanding value. You want to be able to sit down and ask yourself, what are my core assets? What do I bring to the table that no one else brings? Perhaps you have business analytics skills. Perhaps you're a researcher. Perhaps you write code. Perhaps you're a graphic designer. Maybe you're a wonderful writer. These are the kind of things you're going to want to sit down and just itemize and go through so that you know precisely the kind of value you bring to the table, because value is going to be your most important thing. You're going to want to set yourself out apart in the market as being someone who provides very high value. Again, your mantra should be value, value, value. The sixth point that is very important in your startup quest is social media. You're going to want to be able to have 3 primary channels where you reach out to your community with social media. One of those is going to be Facebook, most likely. Depending on your niche, it's going to be Pinterest, Instagram, perhaps LinkedIn. But you're going to want to work those channels tirelessly. You're going to want to be very diligent in extending your content through those channels, because that's how people are going to find you, perhaps how people are going to know who you are. And I failed to mention YouTube, of course. YouTube is the second largest search engine behind Google, which of course Google owns YouTube. But consider the benefits of video today. It's very important, and it falls right in within the framework of what I mean by social media. The 7th point, and it's very important, I saved it for last for a reason, is don't overspend. You do not want to spend thousands and thousands of dollars on things that ultimately don't matter. For instance, I'll give you an example. When I first did my startup 8 years ago, I spent money on things I didn't need to spend. IP, intellectual property, lawyer, copyright, trademark. I didn't need to do all that. I needed to find an audience. I needed to prove my market. I needed to find the customers. I didn't focus on those things, and I ultimately wasted a lot of money. So don't spend all the money on the bells and whistles. There is a book on the market. You can Google it. Very simple title, The $100 Startup. Look it up and consider ways to build your startup on the cheap, but yet providing high value. Consider bootstrapping, which means to fund it yourself. Don't worry about venture capital. Worry about doing it as cheap as possible with the highest value you can, and using a network like Upwork, for instance. If you can't handle all the social media, hire that out. You're not going to be able to do everything, but this is a very important part, is to not overspend. Finally, what I would like to do is tell you a little bit about Startup Labs. What Startup Labs is all about? Well, we help businesses and startups launch. We take people with a business idea and we bring it out and we talk about it, and that's what we can do for you. We bring 4 main pillars together under me. And so what we do is we bring strategy advising, web design, content marketing, and digital marketing all under one roof. And what I would like to be able to do is offer you a free 30-minute consultation to walk through some ideas you may be considering, something you've been wanting to do and just want someone to talk to. If you look at the link below, there's a way to schedule 30 minutes with me free of charge, where we can talk through exactly what you would like to do in your startup and bring your vision to life. So I would invite you to sign up below, and I will look forward to talking to you. See you on the other side.